In 2015, I started to fall in love with books, especially self-help and business books. I would read books after books and highlight everything. I went to the library every day during the summer and I just sat there for hours to read. However, that doesn't seem as good as it sounds. Sure, I would be highlighting everything, but how much would I actually remember? And how much would I actually implement in my life? I still remember that in some books, at the end of the chapters, there were exercises that I should do or were recommended. And I did none of them. I just read over all the exercises and I moved on to the next book. My mindset during that time was the more books that I read, the more smarter and more successful I will get. Yet, I wasn't actually learning anything from the books, and I was just reading over it. After I read a few books, I was not becoming any more successful in any shape or form. However, I'm not saying that books are terrible and you should not read books. No. Books are very useful, and it is like a successful person who is giving you their notes on how to reach their success. But if you don't do anything with the notes that they give you, and if you don't implement it, then it'll be useless. This brings me to the first point in the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Reading will assist you, but it is a whole different world when you go from reading to doing. If you are truly serious about success, prove it, and do the actions suggested. The next point in the book is, if you want to fly with eagles, don't swim with the ducks. Like Jim Rohn used to say, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I shared some of my goals and dreams with one of my friends in the past, and one of them is to become a millionaire in the next 10 years. And she told me that was too unreasonable, and that if I wanted $1 million, I would need to save and save until I got old. And then, I will eventually get my $1 million. She also said that she thinks that she'll never be able to make $1 million. Even if becoming a millionaire in 10 years is somewhat of a big goal, there are people who have achieved it, and have done it, and those people have a different mindset and thought process than my friend. If I continued to hang out with my friend, her mindset would eventually rub off on me, and I'll lose sight of my goal. Now, I continue to look for people who are where I want to be, and try to hang out with them via either face-to-face, listening to their content, or reading their book. One person that I listen to the most right now is Gary Vaynerchuk, and I feel that his mentality and mindset has kind of rubbed off on me. His motto is to hustle, have patience, self-awareness, and currently, I have been working and hustling the most I've ever been in my life, and I've never been happier. Another great point in the book is to stop watching trash TV and stay away from bad news. On the news, we often hear about someone who got shot and died, or an accident that happened. I talked about this in one of my previous videos, Hippos and Sharks. We all think that sharks are deadly and dangerous, and hippos are friendly and jolly, but that is not the case at all. Hippos kill thousands of more people yearly than sharks. Movies such as Jaws and Monster Shark make sharks seem horrible and evil, and this is what the media is doing with the news. They show all the negative and bad news that is happening in the world. This makes people think that it's happening very often. My father reads the newspaper every day, and he reads stories where planes crash and kill a few dozen people. Now, my dad is terrified of planes, and he refuses to ride one. He thinks that if he goes on a plane, it will crash. Again, do not get me wrong, plane crashes are a real thing, but according to BBC, the chances of dying on an airplane crash in one's life is 1 in 5,000. But the chances of dying in a car crash is 1 in 83, and my dad drives his car every single day without batting an eye. The next point is that there is no one who comes around and stamps worthy or unworthy. You do that. You make it up. You decide it. So I became a certified personal trainer this year, and I started to train clients. However, I would always have this feeling that I'm unworthy, not because I do not have the knowledge of a proper personal trainer, but because it's just that people are paying the gym obscenely amount of money, and my thought process is that these clients are paying so much money for me, and it's just weird. I'm just waiting for someone to come along and tell me that I'm worthy of being a trainer, and I'm worthy of the money that the clients are paying. However, that is never going to happen. Nobody's going to come around and tell me that. It all has to start with my mindset and my thought process. I have to first decide that I'm worthy, and then I'll actually feel worthy. Even if someone comes around and tells me, Bob, you are worthy. If my mind never decides that I'm worthy, then I'll never be worthy. I want to end with this. Every master was once a disaster. This is one of my favorite points in the book because it shows that everyone has to start somewhere, and with enough practice, passion, and patience, one can become a master. It really gives me hope, and hopefully will for you as well. When I mess something up, either in my personal life, work life, or school life, I would think to myself, every master was once a disaster, every master was once a disaster, every master was once a disaster. And it makes me feel, in time, that I will get better and better if I learn from my mistakes. Again, remember, every master was once a disaster. Alright, good luck, and I'll see you next week.